Hey gang, today we're going to be talking about some angle word problems. We can use the properties of pairs of angles to write equations to solve for missing values. To do so, you're going to first determine the relationship between the angles. If they're supplementary, you're going to add the expressions and set them equal to 180. If they're complementary, you're going to add them and set them equal to 90. And if they're congruent, you're going to set the expressions equal to each other. Second, you're going to solve for the variable. And last, you're going to substitute the solution into both original expressions to find the angle measures. So here's our first example. So we have these two on opposite sides of a vertex, and that should be your huge hint that these are vertical angles. And if you remember, vertical angles are congruent. So we're going to set them equal to each other to solve for x. So we have 2x plus 4 equals 3x minus 50. We subtract 2x from both sides. So 4 equals x minus 50. And then we add 50 to both sides. So x equals 54. Remember always to balance the equation and stay on one side of the equal sign. So x is 54, and now we can plug that in to find our angles. So we have 2 times 54 plus 4, and that's 108 plus 4, which is 112. And we have 3 times 54 minus 50. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Minus the 50 is also 112, proving that they are congruent. So these two sides are 112 degrees, or these two angles. And then we can find the opposite two angles by subtracting from 180, making these two 68 degrees. And remember, we know that because it's a straight line. So those two angles would have to add up to 180 with the 112. All right, so pretty simple stuff. Hopefully you see how to do that and it's not too challenging. Let's take a look at another example. Number 2. So now in this case, those two angles are side by side. They're adjacent and they form a straight line. So you can see here, this is an obtuse angle, this is an acute angle. So they're definitely not equal. So they have to be supplementary. So we're going to add them and set them equal to 180. We can combine like terms. So we get 17x plus 10 equals 180. Subtracting 10 from both sides, 17x equals 170. And then dividing by 17, x equals 10. Okay, so now we can find our two angles. We have 12 times 10 plus 4 is 120 plus 4, or 124. And then 5 times 10 plus 6 is 50 plus 6, or 56. And 124 plus 56 is 180, so we know we have that correct. So this is going to be 124, and this is going to be 56. This would also be 56, and this would also be 124 because of vertical angles being congruent. All right. So again, if you have vertical angles, they're on opposite sides of a vertex and they're congruent. If you have supplementary angles, they're side by side, one obtuse, one acute, so they add up to 180. All right, number 3. Now we have a word problem. Two angles, angle A and angle B, are complementary. If the measure of angle A equals x and the measure of angle B equals 2x plus 30, find each angle measure. Okay, so A is x and b is 2x plus 30, and they're complementary. Complementary means they add up to 90. So we're going to add them together. X plus 2x plus 30 equals 90. We get 3x plus 30, because x plus 2x is 3x, equals 90. Subtracting 30, we get 3x equals 60. Dividing by 3, we get x equals 20. So now we can plug that 20 back in and find the two angles. So angle A is going to be 20. Angle B is 2 times 20 plus 30, which is 40 plus 30, which is 70, which makes sense because 20 plus 70 is 90. All right, let's continue. Number 4, the measure of the complement of an angle is 20 less than the measure of the angle. Find the angles. So it doesn't say it as straightforward as the last one, so we're going to draw a diagram. It says that we have complementary angles, so I'm drawing a right angle, and I'm going to split it into 2. Again, it says the complement of an angle is 20 less than the measure of the angle. So one is x minus 20, and the other is x. Together, they add up to 90. So that's x plus 20 equals 90, or 2x plus 20 equals 90. Subtract the 20, and 2x equals 70. Divide by 2, and x equals 35. So now we have our x. So this is 35 degrees. Oops, something is wrong. 20 less. Ooh, did you guys pick up that mistake before? So this shouldn't be plus 20. This should be minus 20. Minus 20 plus 20 plus 20 makes this 110. And 110 divided by 2 is 55. So I knew something was going to be wrong because I wasn't going to get a sum of 90 there. We all make mistakes. Hopefully you can then figure out what you did wrong to fix it. So we plug in that 55. 55 is here. And then 55 minus 20 would be 35. And 55 plus 35 equals 90. So I know we've got it correct. All right, let's continue. Number 5. The measure of the supplement of an angle is 6 less than twice the angle. So now we have supplementary angles. So we're going to draw a straight line and split it. The supplement of an angle is 6 less than twice the angle. So let's make this x and this 2x minus 6. Together they add up to 180. So that's 2x minus 6 plus x equals 180. Or 3x minus 6 equals 180. Adding 6 to both sides, we get 3x equals 186. Then dividing by 3, we get x equals 62. I know that because 3 goes into 18 6 times and 3 goes into 6 twice, so it's 62. So now we can plug that back in. 2 times 62 minus 6 gives us this side, and this side would have to be 62 degrees. So 2 times 62 is 124, minus 6 is 118. So this side is 118 degrees, which makes sense because 118 plus 62 is 180, proving that they are supplementary angles. All right, we're doing a lot of work together today. Hopefully you're really paying attention so that when you're on your own, you can do it without too much support. Number 6, a pair of adjacent angles have a sum of 100. The first angle is 10 more than half the second. Find the angles. So all we know this time is that they have a sum of 100. That's a little bit more than 90, so I'm going to draw what might be a 100-degree angle and split it. And again, it tells us that the first angle is 10 more than half the second. So we can call one x and one half x plus 10. Add those together, we get x plus half x plus 10 equals 100. So that's 1.5x plus 10 equals 100. Subtract 10 from both sides. 1.5x equals 90. And divide by 1.5. And x equals 90 divided by 15 would be 6. So this would be 60. Okay, so x is 60. Then we can plug that back in. This would be 60. And then half of 60 plus 10 is 30 plus 10, which is 40. So this would be 40. And sure enough, 60 plus 40 is 100. So we know we got it right. All right. So again, lots of work done today. Hopefully you were paying attention because you're going to now do your exit tickets on your own and start your homework. The entire lesson was done with you today. Hopefully you understood it. If not, please make sure you ask some clarifying questions.